Setting up users inside of RingCentral. This could be a little bit of a complicated process only because the stuff that seems simple isn't always that simple. So we're going to start with configuring a new extension for a user. So first thing, I'm going to click on extension. Alright, so we're going to click on extension. It's going to take us into our list of extensions. So, depending if you've already added the extension, if you have, in this case, we've got additional ones here. So what we're going to do is, in lieu of changing somebody's extension, what we're going to do is add a new extension. So all we're going to do is enable one. So we're going to go down here and we're going to click on disable, which is then going to give us the option to enable it. I'm going to take the next one in line, and we're going to put in the person's basic information. Name, we want them to be included in the dial by name directory. Email address, here's where we're going to replace it with their personal company email address. This is what will be used for notifications and such. We're going to send them a welcome letter just so they'll know things have been set up, and we're going to use a generic username and password. So alright. Now that we have that completed, what we're going to do is we're going to configure the extension. We're going to go with full call control because this is a way we can control how the messages get delivered to the extension. So full call control. I'm going to come in and we're going to put in their mobile number. And in this case, we don't actually know the person's mobile number. So what we're going to do is we're going to do two things. We're going to put in the work number, which is going to be the rollover number, and we're going to make that number, for today's purposes, the same. So it's going to ring the same number twice. I'm going to try to enter it twice here just so we can see what has to be configured. Okay, so we've got them both in here. In this case, we're going to tell it to not. Let's just leave it in there. 4 rings to each one of them is what's going to happen. Actually, now that we have that in there, let's go back and we're going to look at Matt Lopez. So let's take a look at what the rules are that we've set up for him. Okay. Alright, so during business hours, we're going to ring his. We're going to play the introductory greeting. We're going to enable call screening on all calls. Ask them to say their name. Going to connect them. Play some nice little music on hold. And we want to interrupt the music every 20 seconds to let them know that please stay on the line. Now, when this happens, we're going to ring each one of these numbers in sequential order. But we want it to go to the salesman's mobile number first. So we want it to go to here. If somebody doesn't answer, then we want it to roll over to the work number. And if no one answers there, then it's going to go back and leave a voicemail. The voicemail greeting in the salesman's voicemail box. Alright. So in this case, let's take a look at what we've said as far as the business hours go. Ideally, this should inherit the normal work days, which it does, so we know that that's good. Alright, so here we are. After hours, it's going to take messages. Finished. Okay, so now let's look at the things that go along with this. We know what the rules are for answering. We're verifying that the forwarding numbers are set up. So we're going to actually change this number to his cell phone number. We're using default greetings, we're using his name as the voicemail name. We're using acoustic. We're interrupting every 20 seconds. We don't have any block numbers. We'll ignore these features till later. And the caller ID setup is here. It's the main number. And then we're going to go with the local main number as the additional line. Alright. Now we haven't configured his ring call controller yet, so he won't actually be listed on this section yet. Now, I'm going to go ahead and submit that so that we got this updated correctly. Now we're going to look at the important stuff, the notification settings. First thing, we're going to notify him at his email in an HTML format of anything that happens. Okay, so here for any voicemail that he gets, we're going to send a notification with an attachment to his email account. If he gets a fax, notification with attachment to his email account. Incoming calls, we're going to send a notification to him that somebody tried to call him unless they leave a voicemail and unless he answered the call. Outbound communications, which means he sends a fax. We want to get a confirmation via email. So now that that's done, we're going to click on submit. So now that we got his notifications set up, let's take a look at the last three here. Web settings. Let's just display all of his messages on one page. We're going to automatically delete old messages. Number of records to display in the call log. Simple. And let's just go with Google Maps. Voicemail settings. Maximum is 5 minutes. We can automatically delete anything that's less than a second. I'm going to play the caller ID before it comes back. I'm going to start with the oldest message first. Boom. And now his fax settings. This is important because if you don't configure this, he won't actually be able to send a fax. So in this case, we're going to add him to have the ability to send a fax. And that's it. Now we have him set up and ready to go, and everything is configured for his account.